Our final skater is 13-year-old Michelle Kwan. She electrified the crowd a year ago with her performance in the free program, which vaulted her into 6th place. What made that performance most remarkable was that she was only 12 years old. This is a very special young woman. 4 feet 9 inches, 77 pounds, and only 13 years old. Michelle Kwan is already a U.S. senior competitor for the 2nd time. Her lifestyle is quite unusual for a young teenage girl, since her talent has taken her away from home to train.
When I was 7, I skated in Palos Verdes. The rink was in a shopping mall, so I decided to move down to Torrance in a bigger skating rink. My dad drives up and down, and I get to see my mother on the weekends, and I see my sister full-time.
Michelle trains 2 hours away from home in Lake Arrowhead, California, with her older sister Karen, who is also a skater. But it was Michelle who hit the headlines after last year's Nationals. She became the youngest woman in 20 years to compete on the U.S. senior level, finishing in 6th place. She won her first senior title this summer at the U.S. Olympic Festival, hitting 6 clean triple jumps. Having hit the triple axel in practice, she hopes to someday follow in the footsteps of her idol, Tonya Harding. Coach Frank Carroll believes that she can do it.
Michelle is just a typical 13-year-old child. There's nothing is put on. It's very natural. And so it's a pleasure to work with her because she's cooperative and she's fun. And she's not sophisticated, and that's great.
Representing the Los Angeles Figure Skating Club, Burbank, California, Michelle Kwan.
Well, when Brian Boitano won his Olympic gold in 1988, Michelle Kwan was only 7 years old. Now, some 5.5 years later, Boitano and Kwan could, ironically, be Olympic teammates.
Now, in her first element, the double axel, watch the control of the landing. Comes.
Artistic and controlled. She's very ambitious and very competitive. Her combination is a triple Lutz double toe. One of the more difficult triples. There's only 3 other women in the competition that are even attempting this.
Watch the leg as she reaches back, the free leg there.
Very solid.
Well, Peggy, she is ambitious. Her coach, Frank Carroll, wanted her to stay in the junior division for another year, but she took the senior test and passed last year while he was out of town, so she certainly knows what she wants.
She has a vision, I think. Here's an example of a good layback spin, except for the foot hanging down, the good arch in the back.
Now the single double jump that she's doing, was that double Lutz?
Potentially all of the women could be skating for one spot on the Olympic team if the USFSA grants Nancy Kerrigan a spot on the team. Tonya Harding in first, Nicole Bobek in second, Elaine Zayat in third position.
No matter what it is, somebody's going to be very disappointed.
Well, she has very good basics, and good basics in any sport is the strongest foundation a coach can give a student. And obviously her coach, Frank Carroll, has instilled those important qualities in Michelle. Good job.
A very solid performance for 13-year-old Michelle Kwan. We will be back with her marks right after this.
Marks for
Back
Michelle
here in
Kwan.
Detroit, Nancy
For
Kerrigan
required
watching
element.
from a skybox in Joe Louis Arena. She is sitting with her father, Dan,
5.4.
and waiting here for the marks
5.6.
for Michelle Kwan.
5.3. 5.6.
And the marks for
5.6.
required elements, very high, from 5.3 to 5.7. Sitting with her coach, Frank Carroll, there.
Doesn't Frank Carroll look as though he has a canary? He caught a canary.
5.6.
He has to be very proud of her.
And the marks for presentation
5.6.
move her into third place ahead of Elaine Zayak.
5.6.
No, 1980, Elaine Zayak skated her first senior nationals, and Michelle wasn't even born.
5.6.